Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Presented by Carolina Lightweight. Come get with us. When the action begins in the studio, our referees for tonight's event are Elgato Azul and Carolina Real Streamers. For the viewers in attendance and Facebook and YouTube users around the world, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Live from the Elgato Azul TV studio in Louisville, Texas, it's time! What's up, slime lovers? I'm your host, Chris, a.k.a. Elgato Azul. My partner in slime, Mr. Jamie Dunn.
What's
Zane
up?
Stith over the top of him. What's up, Zane? Welcome to the Slime Show, baby.
Appreciate it.
What's going on, everybody in Slimeville? Tonight we got Zane on. He's my teammate on the Paid to Fish team over at Mad Cats. He's a flathead catching fool. Zane, tell our people a little bit about yourself, where you fish, what you're about.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Zane Stith. I'm down here in Ohio. Primarily fish the Muskingum River in southeastern Ohio. It's pretty much a flathead river, so that's all I target. The occasional blue will show up, but that's pretty much where I'm at between here, Hoover, and sometimes I'll hit the Ohio River.
You've been on them blues this week. What's the deal?
They come and go. They're tough to get. Like, I got them last October, and pretty much been chasing them ever since. It seems like the same 3 or 4 blues kind of rotate around the river. You got to be there at the right place, the right time. If you manage to get a blue on the Muskingum, it's almost always huge. So it's a plus when you get them. Yeah.
So, how big were those two you caught this week?
43 and 46. And then in the past, they've grouped with a 74 too. I was hoping that would show up. I'm hoping I can get you that. Yeah. But yeah, so honestly, like realistically, the ones I've got as far as blue wise are always from high 30s to the low 50s. That's what they always seem to be. And then that big one from last October. Cut bait. So if I typically it's shad, but right now I think it's too hot to run shad. So I was running saw guy last night. I do really well with saw guy.
How do you cut that saw guy? And you're on anchor, right?
What's that?
You're on anchor all the time.
Yeah, I'll anchor or I'll beach up. I like to beach the boat. That way I'm not swaying. I can move around.
Yeah, I mean, that's typically, I call that anchor. Are you in the boat?
Yeah. Gotcha. Stationary, yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, typically I'll find a spot where I think they're at and I'll fish stationary.
Yeah, hell, I say I'm anchored, but a lot of times I'm on a tree or I just pull it up on the shoreline and fish out the back.
Yeah. That's
anchoring for me at this stage in the game.
Yes, sir.
You're not throwing out the anchor, are you, brother?
I'm trying not to, man. You know, if I'm looking and I see fish, I'm looking, all right, is there anything I can tie to?
That anchor will make you feel old, I can promise you.
Man, I hate that, dude. Those box anchors are a pain in my ass.
Oh, man, I know fishing all-night tournaments, man, and you don't have much to tie up to. You throw that thing, it's 25-pound anchor all night long. It's like, Jesus Christ.
I was fishing with Juan Tienda, and I called him getting ready to go, and I'm like, what are you doing, man? He's like, oh, I'm taking these anchors out of the boat. Like, we're going anchor fishing. Like, we tied to a tree.
Oh, man.
Well, let's run through here real quick, see who all's with us. So we got Best Cook, says Slime Show fault. I ain't on my mower. What's up, Slimers? Welcome in, Bess. Tommy Boy Outdoors says, evening, brothers. Welcome in, Tommy. Alex, Texas Fishing. What's up, y'all? Welcome in. Corey Whaley says, what's good, Slime family? Corey's feeling good because he won a green goblin week off the show.
Yep.
Go catch you a PB, Corey. JP, Parker Pursuits, another one of our Mad Cats teammates. Welcome in, JP. Says, evening, everyone. Chase Godfrey, another winner. big winner. I think Chase, did you win the bumping rod or one of Micah's rods? Anyway, congrats, buddy. Glad our guys are winners. Like seeing our guys win that instead of the people that just come in for the competition or the free crap. Brandon Tedder, CLW fam in the house. Welcome in, Brandon. Pontoon Jody. She's been missing in action. I don't know where Jody's been.
I tell you, man, I don't know either. Hadn't seen her in a while.
Hello, Jody. Alexander's Taxidermy. That's my buddy, the mayor. We're going to be doing some fishing up at Mighty Lake Texoma real soon. We're going to go anchor the inlet. You know, we had that rain today. I bet it's damn good this evening, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Lee Lloyd says, evening, brothers. Welcome in, Lee. Catfish Junkie, what's up?
So what is eating this? Rat oil.
It's not rat oil. It's corn scent. Carp.
Oh, it's for carp?
Yeah.
I thought it said rat oil.
It says Pro Pure Sweet Corn Scent.
Oh, okay, I thought it was rat poison.
Oh, you're good.
She ate it.
My dog's eating carp bait oil, corn oil.
It must be disco.
Pontoon Jody says, finally somebody else who uses sauger and walleye for bait.
Yes. Fastest way to piss people off right there.
Oh, man. I know how to piss people off. I did a damn good job of it yesterday. All you got to do is make a post about loyalty or, strong character. You're going to see it. It really raises some people's cackles.
I've seen a pretty long message on that one in the comments. Like a book. I didn't read it.
He's a bass fisherman. I mean, what's weird is why is a bass fisherman coming over and commenting about the catfish industry? I don't get it. I don't go over to the bass guys stuff and talk about the bass industry, but whatever. It was like 5 pages long.
Yeah, I seen it. I was gonna read it. And I was like, maybe not.
Dude, I got about 2 paragraphs in, and I'm like, blocked. Lee Loy has 2 60-pound dumbbells for the windy days. That's good anchor, I guess. Yeah, pulling 60-pounders out. You don't want to anchor too many different spots.
Damn, he's going to the gym and fishing.
Hey, he's killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
That's it, man.
That's a backbreaker. Jody says she's finally got spot lock. No more cinder blocks.
Nice.
Oh, hell. Tar River Slime says, God bless y'all, men, Jamie, Chris, and the rest of the Slime family. Aiden Mack says, hey, guys, donate life catfishing. Terry Woodrow says, what's up, Slime Brothers? He met up with Jamie Dunn. Did he meet up with you today?
We're actually meeting in the morning, man, in Myrtle Beach. He's in town.
Happy birthday, brother Terry. Happy birthday, bro. Flathead Doty says, love you guys. No homo heart. Love you too, bro. Leonard Young says, evening. My dog's creeping in after he got him some corn oil. Jody says the Goblin's her favorite rod. Me too. Gotta love that green. That's the signature El Gato Azul. Matt asked me, what do you think would be a popular rod? I said, that's an easy one. Green, black, and gray. 2 months later, Goblin comes out. I'm like, damn, you forgot my name on it. Chase Godfrey says he won the bumping rod. Congrats, bro. Go bump you up a monster.
Heck yeah,
He
bro.
says, thanks for the rigs, Jamie.
Anytime, brother.
Did he win those from you or from one Tienda?
Man, I tell you the truth, bro, we gave away so much stuff that night, man. It was hard to keep.
Either way. Go catch
Yeah.
the monster, Lee.
Yep.
Chancey M. Matt Real. Chancey N. Matt Real says, what's up, guys? Ray King, KDK Fishing. Ready to hear these flathead secrets.
Let's go.
We're bringing them live and direct. Taylor C. White says, what's up, guys? Owen Cope says, what's up, Slimers? Welcome in, Owen. Move to the lake, says Jody, into a covered boat slip. Damn, you're living the good life. Ryan Bertrand, I'm an absolute junkie for Zane's baits.
Appreciate you.
Love when that dude baits on video.
Heck yeah.
Lee Barrow says, what's up, guys? Welcome in, Lee. I'm going to move on down. Moving on down. I don't mean to skip y'all. I just trying to get this thing knocked out. Fishing World 123. Hey, just joining. How should I target flatheads on the river? Should I target the deep outside bends with fallen trees or shallow inside bend? My inside bends don't have as much fallen timber.
Yeah, he's fishing up there on the north end towards
Zane. You're the flathead master.
Yes,
bro.
sir. The way I would hit it, so I've done both. I've had success both ways. I think if you have the right bait, they'll hit either way. They're going to find it for the most part, especially if you have current. I would hit it both ways to where you're at the point and you can hit the main ledge and then also get a couple on that where it slopes down, but definitely hit the slope for sure. But the biggest ticket with anything as far as flathead fishing is fresh bait. I think a lot of people get on them more than they think. They just don't want their bait. So
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would definitely hit the first drop and then the ledge, but make sure you're doing it with the right bait for sure. And that's just extremely fresh bait.
You catch a ton off cut bait, right?
What's that?
You catch a ton of flatheads off cut bait.
Yeah, so this year every single flathead I've got has hit cut bait other than one.
You're in current, pretty decent.
Yeah.
A little, I mean, you got some current, so there's some action to your cut bait, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, and my theory behind it, because it's been this way for years, like my theory behind it is I can just reach out and touch a flathead 300 yards away with current versus them having to pick up on commotion from the live bait.
Yeah.
I just do a lot better. Like I've got them on live bait, but I would say it's probably 8-1 as far as cut bait and live, and I run both. So.
Yeah, I hear a lot of guys say when there's less current or virtually no current, they'll move to a live bait. With a little current, they do just as well or better off cut bait. So.
I do decent at finding current even on still water, though. Like if I go to a reservoir, there's typically a couple main bodies of water that feed the reservoir, and that's kind of where I target them, and we'll do well with cut bait in there as well. But yeah, I agree with that. If it's still water, I wouldn't just run live. I would also suspend it as well, so it's in the water column and it's able to make as much commotion as possible. Because a lot of times when you throw like a Carolina rig with live, if you set it in the water beside you, a lot of times that thing will just float to the bottom and lay there.
Yeah.
So yeah, live in still water, but suspended live in still water is even better.
Yeah, that's something I know I do quite a bit on our rivers here, man, is suspend fish with that live bait. Or, normally I'll throw my cut bait and do real well on it too, but my live bait, man, mostly suspending it, and it works real well.
Yeah, yep.
What's up, fellas? Raymond Polson says, what's up, y'all? Congrats on the Mad Cats Pro staff. Raymond. Trent Hall says, what's up, fellas? What's up, Trent? I need you to send me my package I accidentally sent to you, bruh. I got to respool all my rods, man. I need that freaking structure cat. I'll make sure you get compensated. Don't you worry. You know I take care of my guys. Ricky Linares says, let's go. We're going. Jimmy Floyd, he fished down with Matt Gomez yesterday on Lake Calaveras and got him some redfish and blue cats. Who even knew you could do such a thing? Congrats. Greenwell Fishing says, Elite 13, let's go.
Yes, sir.
Green Whales in the house. Smackdown Catfishing. This is quite the crew. Welcome in, Peter Drees. Appreciate all the support. We were going to run a commercial tonight for smack down, but me and Peter couldn't figure out the technology side of transferring files through the internet.
What's up, Peter? What's up, buddy?
Welcome in, Pete. Chase Godfrey was on the Ohio River this past weekend. Caught every 15-pounder bumping. I guess Chase caught them all. There ain't any 15-pounders left that aren't sore-lipped.
I got a quick question for you. While Ryan was asking, how many boats have you been through, man? Undoubtedly, yeah.
Oh man. Well, in the last like couple of years too, but I used to buy and sell and flip boats, so I've had a lot. Is he local to here?
I don't know. He didn't say. He was just asking. He was like, how many boats has this dude Zane been through over the years? Need a number.
Oh man. As far as fishing wise too, but buying, flipping, and selling a lot. A lot. That's what I did for a while. That's fun.
Oh, nice, man. Nice.
Where were you finding them to buy them and flip them?
It's always cheaper in Indiana and Pennsylvania. I don't know why. So I'll drive to Indiana, Pennsylvania, get a good deal. I'll either gut it or just make it real nice, with some nice lights, make it, able to sell, and then I'll sell in Ohio. And a lot of times the market here is just higher. I'm not sure why. It might be because Columbus is kind of booming. So, but the market here is higher. I mean, you can make
probably more
$1,000.
anglers, fewer boats, more anglers. So, I mean, the market's going to drive the price.
That's it.
These boats are crazy priced now.
They're nuts.
I won't say it, but like, man, you're offering me double what I bought the thing for 10 years ago. Like,
yeah.
But I didn't. I mean, even then, I'm not selling. I'm not.
I need to put mine up on the market, but I'm going to keep mine because mine costs too much to rebuy.
Oh,
I ain't getting rid of mine.
Crazy what they've gone up.
It is, man. Lee's asking, I've been fishing the Ohio River out of West Virginia a lot lately. Any suggestions?
Gallipolis area?
He's not saying. He's just saying out of West Virginia. That's all.
So he sounds like he's in like Point Pleasant, Gallipolis. I haven't really targeted that area for flats. I'm fortunate enough to have them right where I live. So driving, that's 2.5 hours from me to drive to look for something that's right where I'm at. But I mean, just the typical stuff, fresh bait. I would run cut and live, creek inlets, stuff like that. It depends if you're on a boat. I don't know if it's on a boat or not. But another thing, the odds of you getting one first try is low. So I would use contour maps and just try a handful of things, shallow depth, creek inlets. But the biggest thing, like I said, is fresh cut bait. Don't bring it on ice if you can. Like when you cut it, make sure it's alive. I've noticed that has a significant
Huntington,
impact.
West Virginia. Huntington, West Virginia.
Huntington? Oh man, that's like in the middle. That's near. So I think the canal would be closer than that. But yeah, pretty much what I said. Use contour lines, find feeder creeks, find current, and but the biggest thing is the right bait, because if they're there, they're picky. Flatheads are picky. So, and I would hit. So if it's a new spot, I typically would hit a spot 3 to 5 times and then move. So if he's going there, if you're going there and you're fishing it correctly with the right bait and everything, with spots that should hold them, and you're not getting one in 3 trips, just keep moving. Just keep looking for them, and you'll find them eventually. If you're on a boat, throw your net. I've noticed if I sling my net enough to find where the bait is, that's where I'll usually fish as well. Also, so
nice.
Elman Anita, welcome, bro. Jody says, how many rods do you normally fish with, Zane?
3. That's my limit. I'll bring a lot. On the boat, I'll have 3 for anchor, and then 3 for dragging, and then I'll suspend my anchor ones periodically if it's like a real slow night.
Junkie says lakes are okay, but rivers fishing is way better. Unless your name is William Oliver. Oh man, I wish I could learn how that dude live scopes. That would be fun. Okay? They already asked what's Zane's local body of water. Okay.
Yeah,
Muskingum.
Trent says
If
no.
anybody's in Ohio, I recommend trying the Muskingum. It's very skunky, but that's because it's only full of giant flatheads. I tell you right now. Like if your rod goes, it's skunky, but if your rod goes, it's gonna be a good picture. It's worthy.
What are you using? Medium heavy, heavy? What rod are you using, brother?
I'm running medium heavy. I run medium heavies, and I have a couple of reels. I run the Mad Catch 6750, the Genesis, and then I'll run a Ancient Mariner Ocean Tycoon. But yeah, medium heavy, 80-pound braid, 100-pound leader. I use a hybrid circle hook. They seem to do better for the flat for me personally, and snelled hook, slip sinker, normal stuff.
Nice.
Stephen Poole says, "What's up, Slime Bros? Welcome in, Stephen. Congrats on Levi's accomplishment with the Bugs Island tournament series. Him and JT Catfish Kid took home first place for the tournament series. Third place on the tournament. First place youth angler took the series.
Tell you what, man, them boys have been tearing it up, brother.
They flat out put the smack down on them.
Looks like we still got a lot of people pouring in here tonight, man. They're excited about the show.
Ryan Bertrand says all the dogs out here tonight. Trent says, "Send me your address. I keep forgetting to get it." I'll send it to you, Trent. If I can remember. I'm good at forgetting crap too, man. JT, welcome in, Jared. I need to go fish with Jared. Y'all seen Jared's Mad Cat's Carolina Lake Weights, the Dragon Cabin?
Oh yeah, yeah. I shared that on my page.
Man, that thing is sick, ain't it?
Yeah, I would never leave the water. There's
my
no
buddy.
reason to leave
I'm
the
gonna
water.
go fish with him up Texoma soon.
I
That
tell you,
guy-
that thing.
Very tricky.
He done a hell of a job on that one, man.
Yeah,
Nice.
That thing's decked out.
Like, damn, I could see myself getting one of those.
I could see myself getting in trouble for not coming home if I had one of those.
Oh, that would be the biggest issue. I'd be spending a lot of nights on the water.
No reason to leave at that point.
No.
That's it, man. That's it, brother.
You get the
That's
night
it.
bite, the morning bite, and the day bite.
Lee was asking.
He says, how come he doesn't catch flatheads bumping? Only thing he catches are blues.
Bumping? I mean, so I can only speak on my experience, but they just seem to be a lazier fish. They're lazy fish. They eat, a lot of times they'll eat massive bait. So they're lazy, they're dormant, and they don't have to feed as often as blues.
They typically don't immediately go hit something either. So you're probably past them.
You gotta give them time.
One thing I noticed when we were on that live scope trip is, man, it might take, like, you could put it right in their face.
Yeah.
It might take 5 minutes before, and he'll know the guy I went with, he's like, oh, this one's going to bite. But it would take 5 minutes after that before he would bite.
Yeah, they're not
bite. So bumping, you're gone past them, but they don't typically just have a reactionary.
Not at all.
bite.
No, they act completely different. They're so lazy.
We had one fish that did that, Zane, and he said, man, I've tagged 900 fish in the last 2.5 years. 900 flatheads in the last 2.5 years. That's the first one I've ever seen do that. He came, like, right when we dropped on him, he came out of the brush pile and freaking just smacked.
Wow.
He's like,
Good size?
He's like, that's what bass do. That's not what flatheads do.
What size was that? Was it like a smaller one?
It's about a 25-pounder.
25. Okay. Yeah, I noticed the smaller ones are like that.
That was the smallest fish of the day that we even saw.
Really?
They were, all the fish we saw were 40-plus pounder. I was super surprised at how many big flatheads there are. Every brush pile we stopped on basically had a big flathead in it.
Yeah.
It was that was probably the biggest shocker to me is just how many flatheads there are, but how hard they are to catch.
They're so hard to catch. It's
a game.
And they're lazy.
What you're going to realize is it's a game of inches. What we're doing is a game of inches. You go over here and he was right. It was eye-opening experience for me. I realized that I probably will never be able to catch giant flatheads on live scope. It's that difficult. It's like, wow. This is
What about
crazy.
jigs though? I feel like you could jig them. I feel like they react pretty well to small jigs versus like big big bait.
That's what he said. He's like, really, the bait is not the bait; it's the presentation.
Yeah.
He's like, I can use a jig and do just as well
No.
if it's me. He's like, if it's me doing it. Now,
Yeah.
if it's you doing it, we're gonna need to probably use bait because you're not
Really?
used to catching them with a jig. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was all presentation. It's also like he would. I mean, we've talked about it before. I'll go through it real quick again. He would get the bait basically about a foot over the fish's mouth, and then he would pull out about a foot or 18 inches of line, or about a foot of line. You know, if it was 14 inches over the fish, he would pull out a foot of line. And then he would drop it real quick, and it would. And when he did that, that's what got the fish.
They triggered.
Like, it's a reactionary. He's like, when we're doing this with live scope, it's all a reaction. It's all it's presentation. It's like because you can put the fish right down there in front of his face, and it won't do anything. But when you do it's like toying with a cat. When you do
literally,
there's some type of instinct that just made it freaking
instinct. Exactly.
go after that thing. So
yeah. That's why suspended. I think suspended. If you're running live, suspended is superior over Carolina ray because it's just
okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Heck
But
yeah, got a question, Zane. Have you done any bumping, brother?
No, I haven't because, like I said, the Muskingum is. I mean, it's notorious for flatheads. It's all flatheads. It's a blessing and a curse because they don't get as big as blues. But I think bumping here wouldn't really pay me much success. I'm sure I could get them, but not at the numbers that I do now.
Yeah, that's very true, man.
Because I've been fishing the Ohio River out of West Virginia a lot lately. Any suggestions, Zane?
Yeah, pretty much what I said before. I mean, first of all, check contour maps, right? Find deep holes with good ledges. You're not really going to know too much about structure unless you're on a boat, but a lot of times the contours will kind of tell you where the current's at, which will tell you where a lot of the structure's at. So you're pretty safe doing it that route. And then I've had a lot of success with anywhere near feeder creeks, even up in the creeks. I've caught 50 plus flatheads out of 4 foot deep creeks that feed into large bodies of water. So consider that. But again, like I said previously, your bait's everything. So
that seems to be standard operating procedure for damn near every species of fish. Feeder creek.
Yeah.
You know, I think bait likes to run up into that little feeder creek. Obviously, the fish are going to go up in there and eat them. So
bait's always on that every time there's a feeder creek that drops down in the main body, there's always bait sitting there every time for the most part.
Yeah, because some stuff's running in and out of there, and I mean, predatorial fish can feed on them easily.
I know you touched up on something earlier, man. We were talking about was bait, talking about fresh bait, man. Is the way to go. And I know we've had talks on the show about that before in the past. Some people say, well, you know, I can do it just as good off of frozen bait or old bait. But, you know, when you brought it up talking about fresh bait was the way to go, man, that backs up a lot of what myself and Chris, we've also said, and a lot of other people, you know, how important that is. And I know before the show, you were talking about doing some fishing. You don't even have your bait yet, man. You're going out, you're going to get your bait. It's going to be that fresh, man. So that's really something that, you know, I'm glad you touched on earlier.
Yeah, I will say this. This is probably the most important thing to take away from flathead fishing. The day that I started the day I hit the river with no bait and started slinging my net is the day I started catching giant flatheads consistently. It was literally like a light switch. And that's just the facts of it. If I put bait on ice, I already know I'm going to catch that freaking soft shell or that channel cat. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I already know it, but I'll run it just in case. But it's just, I try to
going and getting that fresh bait. It teaches you a lot about where the fish are going to be.
Yes.
I tell guys, what about bait? I'm like, learn to get not just the bait, learn to get the right bait because that's going to tell you a lot about the fish.
Yep. I like oily baits, moon eye, shad, Well, the oily ones do best in spring and fall, and then the hardier baits do better in summer because if you throw a shad when the water's 85, 90 degrees, reel that thing in about 30 minutes, it's going to smell like an old sock. I swear to you.
That's it.
It's going to stink. So, yeah, that's why a lot of times I'll run saw guy or carp does well around here. Personally, carp hasn't done the greatest for me, but I've seen it work around here. But, yeah, I think the biggest thing is learn to throw a big net and know that catching bait with a net can be hard, and don't give up on it because that's going to be the key ticket to getting mature fish, whether it's flat or blue, is fresh bait.
That's the first key to the puzzle.
Yes,
boys.
sir. And a lot of times the bait's harder than the fishing. I'll tell you that right now.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I will agree with that. No
I got
doubt.
a question. Jody beat me to it. I was going to ask. You said you have flatheads in your area you fish. Have you learned their travel pattern and feeding times? Also, do you fish bottleneck areas that are within their travel routes to feed?
So personally, I'll tell you what I do here on the Muskingum. So the Muskingum's separated by a lock about every 7 miles. A lot of times I'll focus in on those locks because they're always loaded with bait. So where I'm at specifically, there's always like 2 main current channels at each lock. There's going to be like a heavier one and then a lighter one. Usually the heavier current channel is going to be anywhere from like the one I usually fish, the heavy current channel is like 40 feet deep. And then there's a lighter channel on the right that runs about 16 feet deep. So it creates like a valley that cuts through the middle of the river. And that's the kind of stuff I look for when I fish with them. As far as travel, that's funny because last October I caught a big flathead. It swam under a tree, and I pulled him out of this tree, and he came up and he had a hole in his lip. And I caught that same fish in the same spot about 8 months later. So I don't know that they're traveling a whole lot when they're like throughout their lifespan. I don't know they're traveling a whole lot to feed as well. But that's kind of what I look for.
I'll tell you this, Zane. In the lake, they travel a lot. My buddy's in a tagging program. He tagged something like 920 fish in 2.5 years.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
In that tagging program, he's caught the same fish 44 times or something like that. And in those 44 fish, the closest that he had caught one from where he caught it before was 1.5 miles.
See, I would like to know what time of year that is because
listen, he catches them in winter when it's 38 degrees. He catches them in the summer when it's 92 degree water. So it's all year. That's what he does 7 days a week. He's live scopes flatheads. I found that interesting because some of my buddies, like Flathead Doty, he's caught the same fish 3 different times on pretty much the same piece of structure.
Yeah. Yep.
And when I talked to William about that, he's like, I find that that is very interesting.
I think lakes, was that lake that he fishes?
Yeah, it's a lake.
Yeah, I think lakes are different.
Majority of the fish are 3, 4, 5 miles from where you caught them before.
Well, lakes, I mean, they're following like the oxygen patterns and thermoclines, and they're following like shad migration, and they're following other things as well. That's why I was curious.
Told me they just get up and move.
They just get bored.
We caught one week or one day, and about 3 days later, we caught it all the way through. It's like a double lake. He's like, it left this lake, went all the way to the opposite end of the lake, and it was only a matter of about 2 or 3 days that it did that. I was like, wow. It's just, I didn't know they move like that. He's like,
I've heard that.
He's like, I'll the same 15, 20 brush piles constantly. It's always different fish. When you pull one off, it leaves and another one comes right in there after it and will get right in there. And you can tell, he's like, you can tell how big the fish is by the wallow. You can see the wallow on live scope. He's like, it's going to be a big one up in here because it's got a big wall. He's like, and when a big one leaves, another big one comes in there after, which I didn't know that they did that, but I thought that was cool.
And Chris, y'all talking about, I do a lot of tournaments down in Santee Cooper, or was doing a lot of tournaments down there, and I come from a background from the river. The Great PD, muddy river, lots of structure and stuff. And we talked before how much of a difference it is going from the river to the lake, and how much I've had to learn from that. And you're talking about how the patterns from the lake, how they're doing, traveling through, and then Zane, talking about kind of how they're laying up. That's what stowed me for a loop. Is I was trying to bring some of that river stuff that I know so much up to the lake, and found like, it ain't the same, man. They're totally different, and how different the patterns are. Even though you're catching flatheads on the river, the flatheads in the lake is like night and day. It's
so we fish brush piles because we went. He's like, man, the lake's turning over. We're gonna have to leave the timber lake. We're gonna go to the smaller lake. He's like, but we've caught a ton of giant fish out of it. 80s, a lot of 80s and 90s. He said, man, we go over here. We're gonna have to fish brush piles. He's like, but we'll do good. And we checked about 15 brush piles, and out of the 15 brush piles, probably 12 of them had a fish over 40 on them.
Really?
12 out of the 15 brush piles that we checked.
And you're looking at live scope?
Looking at them on live scope.
Are they way up in there? When you see them on I've never seen one on live scope.
They're buried at the bottom. Some of the smaller ones were like oriented on the log, but the majority of the really big ones had made a wallow, and they're laid flat in the mud. And, flat in the mud. And the brush pile would be covered with crappie and perch. I mean, like 1,000 of them.
Yep.
Like 1,000 of them. And the flathead just sat there. You would think he would be up trying to get. No, he just sat there. He was not moving to go get one. It had to come to him for him to eat the damn thing.
Yep.
Now, at night, they get up. He's like, at night they get up and move around, but in the daytime, they ain't moving. You got to put it right where it needs to be. So I thought that was cool, man.
Now Zane, I know. As far as the times, I've always said there's been magical times on the rivers. Some times of the night is magical, sometimes is dead. Are you finding that in your area kind of about the same, and how it changes up a little bit?
A lot of times it's like 10 to 2. A lot of times if I have bait, I'll sit at the house until like 9:45. I'm not even gonna leave because I know it's 10 to 2. When I want to get on the water. Before that, there's different times. Like I've got them in like summertime at if there's a big storm, I've picked up some good sized flatheads at like 7:30 p.m. like right at the sunset. But typically it's almost like clockwork. Between 10:30 and 2 is when I have my most success here. And then usually if they don't hit at that point, either I'm not going to get one, or it's tough. So yeah, I would say 10 to 2 for sure. As far as what I've got here.
I know it seems like anytime you hit that 1 a.m. mark to about 3:30ish, 4 o'clock, it's pretty well, for me, it's pretty well dead. Now, right before that daylight, that time when it feels like they pick right up. And that time that you were saying around that, 9, 10 mark, it's been good fishing. So
yeah.
That, I don't know, why do you feel that it's a dead zone in between that 12:30 to 4 o'clock? Why do you feel that?
I think that they want to feed, and I don't think they have trouble feeding. So when they want to feed, they get it done, and then they're not going to feed again until next time they need to feed. I don't think they struggle feeding. I think, especially the mature fish, they're 20 years old. They've been inhaling bait since 2005. So I think you got to get them when they want to feed. Otherwise, you miss your opportunity. And going back to that, I have had some success in the morning also. Yeah, between 6 a.m. and 11 a.m. also, yes, especially in the spring.
And I know just like the question here is far as flathead fishing during the day. I know myself, Chris, you were saying about how they like to hold up tight in the structure during the day.
Boy, I couldn't even see them.
That's where I
manipulate that damn. He would have to manipulate that trolling motor with that spotlight sonar on it. He would have to get it right around where, because I couldn't immediately. He could see it because he does it every day for the last however many years since LiveScope came out. But I could see him, and he would finally get a good view of it, and then I could see it. I'm like, oh, okay. I can see it now. But yeah, they lay down. They're hard to see, man. They camouflage up. They get down in that little wallow. Some of the smaller ones were laying on the stump.
Mm-hmm.
Like on the. A lot of it's like. Some of them were ones that he made out of PVC, but some of them were like cedar trees, crappie condo type stuff. And those 20, 25 pounders seem to like lay on the actual, trunk of the tree or right underneath the trunk of the tree. But the big ones were all laid in the mud.
They probably,
flat in the mud.
Yeah. And see, I know there's some areas I like to get during the middle of the day where there's like 4 or 5 trees that kind of fell over on top of each other, and right at the end, man, there's a hose that you can just drop straight down in, and man, when they hook into it, you better be ready, man, because they're holding tight to that.
We were able to rip them all out of there, and we found one that was 80, and when we dropped on it, it hit it in the nose and it spooked it.
Didn't want it. What was it you dropped?
It was about a 5-inch bluegill.
He don't want it.
It hit him in the nose. It pissed him off, and he left. He's like,
he just left. Ain't that crazy? That's why they're hard to catch. I swear. Yeah. That's why I say you hit a spot 3 to 5 times. That way you can verify one may or may not be there prior to moving. But
so we would get it. There's a super. It's a big trick the way that he does it. I mean, it's all present. Way he does it, it's 100% presentation. That's why why there's not very many guys that can do that. And he would get it. We would get the bait literally that far above the flathead, and he could see it flare up. He's like, all right, this one's ready, and then he would pull up about a foot of line.
Yeah.
And he would leave it above its head for a few seconds, and then he would drop.
And smash.
And then he would hit, and then it would hit it. But if you just left it there, they're pretty.
Unless it was going insane, maybe, but unless the bait was just going nuts.
Yeah, it's cool. Lee Barrows, what size hooks? I spoke with you on Facebook, Chris. Well, I use mostly 10-aughts. So, Zane, what size hooks are you using?
10-aught, yes, sir. I don't see a reason going somewhere.
What size fish for your 10-aughts?
My target, a 10-aught will get anything. 10-aught will get me a 3-pound flat up to a 60-pound flat. I run 10-aught nonstop. I kind of prepare for the large ones.
Yeah, you got to be ready.
Yeah, I don't want to lose a big fish for no other reason. But sometimes you can't do that when you're running live bait, though. You got to match your hook to your bait.
Jeff Martin says, howdy, boys. Welcome in, Jeff. It's been a while, bro. Hope all is well. Lee Barrow says, what catches the big blue cats? Fresh, big-ass baits presented in the proper manner, bro. You watch this show enough, we'll have you dialed in on Monster Blue Cats. Chris Vitale says, yo, another one of my Texas Slime brother. Brad Sparks says, what's up, Slime family? Excited for a great show. Excited to see the temps hit the mid-80s in Texas next week. Hell, it was that today. We had a damn storm blew through, 72-degree rain. That's why I was like, man, as soon as it started raining, I'm thinking inlet.
Yeah.
Big fish at the inlet right now. And I'm sitting out here freaking working. Michael Cox says, get brothers.
Zane, I got a quick question here for you, brother. We were just talking about the times and the feeding times. Do you think the morning bite is them going back to the nest after feeding a lot of the times?
Potentially. I think it depends on time of the year because, like, for instance, springtime when the water's cool, I think that's their initial feeding point is when the sun comes out and it starts to heat up the water a little bit. As far as like this time when the water's warm, it would make sense that they're going back to their holes. But honestly, I do best in the morning, only in the spring. I don't do too great in the morning at this time.
Yeah. I look at it this way too, man. And like I said, here we we have our rivers flow freely from the ocean. I mean, we don't have no locks or dams or nothing like that. And a lot of people, I say, brim fishing, man, early mornings or late in afternoons. When you're brim fishing, you know, they're feeding up, they're catching them bugs out the trees early in the mornings. And normally during the middle of the day, they kind of spread down, start going back deep and stuff.
Yep.
And I tell everybody, if you kind of look at catfishing kind of in that same way, you'll do real well with them. Because like I said, here, late in the afternoons, that time period we were talking about a while ago, and early mornings, I've always done real well with either blues or flatheads at that time. So do you feel that same sort of way also, man, the way the feeding times is with the other fish also?
Sorry, you cut out right there at the very end. Do I feel the same way?
Do you feel like the feeding times for all the other fish and the flatheads kind of work all within
I
that
do.
same?
Yeah, I do. I don't really fish, like, I can only really speak on what I do. I don't want to, like, say too much of outside of what I've done, but so I haven't fished. The only time I fish mornings is spring, and I do pretty decent there. But yeah, I do think that a majority of the species prefer similar feeding times for sure. So morning would be good, but I just chase mine at nighttime. I have my little that works for me, and yeah.
That's it, man. That's it, and that's important. Knowing your area, you know, we've talked about it, Chris, and all. Knowing your area, man, how it works, the feeding times, the travel.
Yeah, you know, fishing in the day is not like fishing at night.
No,
doesn't matter what species you're targeting. It's different at night than it is at day.
I will say
they're
though,
not the same area. They're typically not going to be in the same areas in the day as they are at night.
Yeah,
and that goes for damn near every species I've ever fished for, because I've fished for them at day and night. Going different.
Going on to the night bite thing though, I have noticed that springtime the night bite is pretty much shut down where we're at. Like when that water's like 55, and then the sun goes down and you get that real crisp night. I don't have a whole lot of action there ever. And that's when I switch over to the mornings, because that sun comes up and it starts to heat up the mud, and I'll find them in like 6 feet of water very consistently in the morning.
That's it, man. And I think a lot of people, and Chris, that's real important to get to know your fish, man, to be able to target them big fish. And Zane, you know, we've seen the pictures, man, and stuff, and you have really, really, dialed your fish in. And that's awesome to see. And we tell everybody that's important. That's one of the number one things you've got to figure them out.
A lot of times people don't have the opportunity to, though. Like I'm fortunate enough I pretty much moved my whole life out here for the Flatheads. I packed up and moved to Muskingum. I live like 100 feet from the boat ramp, and 100 feet from the boat ramp that holds monsters. So I'm able to kind of, I'm fortunate enough to fish pretty much every evening, and doing that is how you can pattern them, because a lot of people only get to go on the weekends or every couple of weeks. And at that point, there's so much different activity that it's almost impossible to pattern them.
That's true.
At certain times.
Takes longer. You got to do it for a longer stretch to pattern if you're a weekly fisherman, rather than if you're going 2, 3, 4 days a week. No doubt. Let's run through here real quick. We're going to fastly answer these questions. Elite Brother, do you bump?
I don't bump. I don't bump for flats.
What kind of bait does Zane like for flatheads?
Cut saw guy, cut shad in spring and fall. The cut shad doesn't do the best in hot water. Hot water I'll do. If I get on a saw guy, I pretty much know some good stuff's about to happen. So cut saw guy. And right now I'm going to be running some cut carp because I want to give it a shot too, but I can't really confirm it. But I have seen success with other people. So, but spring and fall, I'm just getting 50 shad and going fishing. I already know I'm going to turn it into a big flathead. Game over. Summertime's different though. And I'll keep them alive in my live well, cut the tail, fillet them, and I'll hook them right through the skull and send them out. And they love it.
Tuberville says the Dragon Cabin will be on the water. Go catch you a monster. I'm going to catch up with you here in the next few weeks, Jared. Ted Ellenbecker says, good evening, gents. I'm going to get Ted on here at some point. Justin Cox says, I've caught most of my flatheads on artificial. I actually have my best luck targeting them with jig heads tipped with shiners bouncing bottom.
Yes,
You
100%.
probably bounce bottom without the shiner and still catch them because you're hitting them. It's presentation. What
Jig heads smoke them, but I don't really do it as much as I probably should. But we have like a white bass, hybrid bass run here every year where the hybrids run up, and all them hybrid bass fishermen smoke them with jigs. They do really well, like multiples. Like
my buddy's like, well, you think them big fish follow those white bass up for the run? I'm like, damn right they do. I was like, look at this video my buddy sent. He showed me a video of these white bass were jammed up at this log jam, and they couldn't get. They were having a hard time getting under it, and they would occasionally jump over. He's like, and watch this, man. These big fish would just, and they were like probably blue cats. They would just come up from behind where they were like jammed up at that log jam, just smash them. Like, yeah, that's like National Geographic. I love that kind of stuff. You never know what you're going to see up there in the creek. It's cool stuff, man. Brandon Ladd says, what's up, brothers? Welcome in, Brandon. Get Brandon back on here. He likes to come on while he's fishing.
That's nice.
He did a lot of fishing, didn't do a lot of catching. We're going to get him on a good night when he's putting the hammer down on him. Brian Henry says, Slime Show, what's going on, y'all? Just getting in here. Hope I didn't miss too much. Waving a big hand out to y'all. Welcome in, bro. Beth says his PB flathead came on a jig. It was 56 pounds.
I'm telling you, man, them jigs smoke them. I'm telling you. I just don't want to do it. Like, I like to do what I do.
Yeah.
I know I should do it, though.
Yeah, when you're doing something and it's working, it's.
I think if I was jigging at the dams, if I was jigging at the locks, I think I'd be on big ones almost every other trip. But it's tough sometimes.
Brandon Ladd says fresh bait's the key to success fishing.
Always.
For flatheads.
Always.
Same for blues. Right. Chris Horde says fam, fish, big bicep. What's up, bro? All right, I'm going to scan through. Rich Segura, welcome in, buddy. Cox says he learned that accident sog-eye fishing. Funny you mentioned sog-eye as bait.
61, is that what you said?
I don't know. I'm lost already.
I believe you got called up now, then, right, Chris, on that one? Justin?
Yeah, Justin Joyner says finally getting to watch. Definitely have caught good flats jigging in the Brazos. Don't do it hardly ever, though. All of our flathead guys have said the same thing. You can do just as well using artificials if you know flatheads.
Yep. Yeah. Like a 4-inch white jig head. That's I've got them jigging before, chasing a smallmouth, but I don't do anything.
How do you cut your bait up, man? Do you chunk it up? You have special ways? I know a lot of people does it different. What's your method on it?
So going back, I know we've mentioned presentation a lot. I try to send it out whole. So I've noticed if I can get a 6-inch shad, it's going to outperform a chunked up 14-inch shad because you're able to fillet it and send it out whole. And there's just no thinking they just see it and they hit it. Not that they think too much anyways, but I have had a lot of success with that. On the shad, as far as if I'm running sog-eye or other bait like a big drum or something, I'll just cut it right down in sections, cut the belly, and I'm running it on pretty much 1.5-inch wide back pieces. And you got to hook it right so you don't mess the hook set up, but that does a trick. But the biggest one for me is spring and fall running shad, whole shad, 6-7 inches. A lot of times I'll throw the big ones back because the small ones outperform.
So presentation to you is very important.
Presentation and Another thing with the smaller shad, they're oilier and they're less dense. Like if you pick up like a 14-inch shad, it's almost like it's dense. The the smaller ones, you could take them and mush them in your hands like mashed potatoes. And I think that just dissipates in the water column very well, and it just sends a scent trail down. And with cut bait, the tricky thing is, from my experiences, it almost seems like the larger flatheads prefer the cut bait. The smaller ones don't. And then when I'm running like a live bait, where I'm at, it's almost like the smaller flatheads prefer the live bait over the big ones. It's like the big ones just don't want to turn down a free meal, like as they're scrolling along the bottom. But I can't speak for where you guys are at, but that's how it is here. And some people may relate.
Well, I've got a question that's always been back and forth on the show. Rattles. Do you ever use any type of rattles or anything while you're flathead fishing?
I caught a 68 with a rattle. It was 67.8 when I weighed in the net. I weighed it in at a tournament a few hours later. It was a little bit less, but I caught that running a rattle. I was actually dragging a channel cat when I got that big flat. But typically I don't run them. No, I don't run floats. I just run a standard Carolina rig for the cut bait. But my PB came on a channel hooked on a rattle. But that was also like 48-degree water, and the fish were just on fire that day for some reason.
Nice. Man-Hay Knoll. Have you ever used Man-Hay Knoll? Do you think it would increase to help your bait out any?
What is it?
Man-Hay Knoll.
Oh, no, I've never used it. It's like oil?
Yeah,
no.
It's like it's a real oil that, a lot of people likes to soak their cut bait in and stuff.
Yeah.
And if you put it just down in the water, it has a heck of a film that comes off of it. I've used it several times, and I'll be honest with you, I really haven't never mentioned it on the show, but I know Rich, I saw where he was asking about it, and I'm like, but I've used it several times and found a lot of success using that Man-Hay. Yeah.
I'll give it a go. I seen a video on YouTube where they was catching they call it a 40-something pound blue cat with a white wash rag sprayed in Pam oil. So I'm sure, I swear, they was bumping a white wash rag. They sprayed with Pam oil and smoked the 40-something pound blue cat.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, I've seen all kinds of people. I've even seen them local here using double D40, using some crazy things. But like I said, Man-Hay Knoll is the only really thing I've dipped into that I found some success into it, because it's got such a heck of a film, and when you're in that little bit of current, man, that thing just spreads, and it works real well.
Brandon Ladd says his 63-pound flathead PB came off a skipjack head that was frozen. I hear a lot of guys use skipjack frozen and do just as well.
Man, I've used skipjack.
Why skipjack does well frozen, but I hear a lot of guys say that.
I got my first flathead I ever caught was a 43-pound flathead on skipjack. But it was after a big lightning storm, and I think the fish were going nuts. And then I was like, okay, well, that's easy. I'll just keep doing that. And I haven't got one on skipjack since.
What do you consider a large flathead?
If it starts with a 4. Yeah, I think I'm
a 4. So
yeah, I like 4. Yeah, 40 plus. I mean, I'll get excited over a 30 plus, but
I like catching 30s too. I've caught freaking probably 5,000 of them, and I still like catching them.
Yeah, they're all fun. Realistically, I'll get excited over anything over 20.
I like 20s, man.
That's what I'm saying.
I like
anything over 20 is cool. 30 is awesome, but if I want to call it a large, mature flat, 40 plus is pretty much that definition.
I know blue catting's different than flathead fishing, but I like 20. I'm fine. I get excited for 20-pound fish. I'll tell you though, when we go over the 200-pound mark for the day, I say, all right, now we're starting to do something.
Yeah.
I feel like, all right, we went over 200. Now we're actually starting to do something. And, it's just all good, all gravy from there up.
We don't really have times like that here. It's tough. It's tough fishing out here. I think my best day here was like 190-something pounds, but that was a unicorn.
Flathead fishing's different than blue catting, though. I had a 200-pound 4-fish takedown.
Yeah, Man, that'd be nice.
That was crazy.
That would be nice.
That was crazy. All right, moving on down.
Yeah, Corey, if you stick around, man, I will keep giving out a little bit more secrets and stuff. A lot of these guys know around these rivers know me around here, man. I will let one out every now and then.
Tommy Anderson says he used Manhattan and never caught a damn thing.
See, Chris, here on that coast, man, right here close to the coast.
Yeah, you're linked to the ocean. I mean, that's more. I get that. It's more of a natural bait for your water.
Yeah, especially in that salt water line.
Also, with flatheads, you could do the same thing 10 times and get 10 different results. So
yeah,
that's it, man.
They're freaking a-holes.
Yeah, blues typically go off of a bait pattern. So if you can find what they're keying in on, you can really hammer them. Problem is for a lot of guys is they don't use they're using the wrong bait for the pattern that they're fishing. Because it worked good over on that group, that it's going to work good on this group. It's not typically not the case. So.
And that's what I tell.
It says tilapia brings in big cats here for me. You're on a tilapia lake. Any lake that's got tilapia is going to be a damn good bait, no doubt. Take that to a lake that don't have tilapia, you might not have the same type of success. You might, I don't know. I mean,
and that's like me, Chris, talking about the American eel. I use a lot here on our rivers. I tear the blues up with American eel, man, like crazy. You could take that American eel, probably bring it to another area, probably wouldn't even get a bite off of it because it's not a natural style bait that's on that water.
Scott Knoll says you guys fish mostly lakes and slower rivers. I fish Missouri River where the current is usually 3 knots or more, and I've yet to figure out the patterns of these fish. Well, you tune in when we got Epic Catfish on, and he can tell you how to catch 100-pounders out of those types of areas. Or go back on one of our previous shows where we've got a Big River guy on. We've got a ton of really badass anglers, all over different parts of the country. So, Stephen Full says, Operation Bets with Nets, we use Manhattan all the time. Mullet too. Foreign to them, and they kill it, especially coming off spawn. There you go. Stephen says it. It's true. Juan Tienda says, well, hello, Slime family. All right, moving on down. Bobby Wynn, welcome in, Bobby. Says, yo. Brandon Ladd says a 30-pound flathead is like a 50-pound blue.
Hits like a 50-pound blue? Or is like?
It is like a 50-pound blue.
I see, yeah. I can see that.
Brian said I've gone as far as spitting. Brian said I've gone as far as spitting Copenhagen on mine.
That's old school right there.
Oh man, I've seen some crazy things, man. I've seen some crazy things that people do.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you.
30-pound flathead over a 40-pound blue. They fight so much better. I think every fish fight's different.
Per time of year.
I've caught flatheads up to 70. I've caught blues up to 85. I'll tell you, the 85 blue didn't fight worth a crap. I've had 40-pound blues that fought like it was a 100-pounder.
Yeah. I think it's time of year too, though.
Fish is different. And it really, I don't know that really time of year has a lot to do with it either, because I've had them fight in the winter hard. Then I've had some, it's like reeling in a 5-gallon bucket full of water. Really big fish, Some of them show out. I've had 40, 50-pounders go airborne.
Yeah, I've had that.
Some that just come to the boat sideways.
Yep. That's crazy when they do that.
I don't know why some of them are more acrobatic than others. I know certain lakes, they seem to be more athletic than other
Yeah.
lakes. You know, I don't know. I would say just fish are different. They all really, especially the big ones. Some of them just come straight to the boat, but I've had some of them that just do not want anything to do with the boat. They'll do everything they can to break you off. They're in the trolling motor. They're in the drift sock. They're trying to get into the one freaking stump. They go straight over there to that stump. You know, but then I've had some of my son's biggest fish. It's like, I want to get in this boat. Let me put the net down so I can jump in the net for this kid, you know. But then I get one on, and it's like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm not coming in the boat for you for nothing, dude.
I've got a question. You know, I know Zane, you do a lot of rivers and stuff, and Chris, you do a lot of lakes. Thermocline and flatheads. Do you feel that the thermocline with the flatheads are about the same as it is with the blues, or do y'all feel that it's a little bit different?
There's no thermocline here. I don't fish a lot. The only time I go to reservoirs is in the spring. Past that, once that thermocline hits, I'm out of there. So that'd be more of a question for him, because I don't like playing with that thermocline.
I don't like the thermocline either, but I know all about it because we got it here all summer long. So I typically stay at the thermocline or about a foot below it. If you're about a foot to two below it, that's the stun zone, and fish feed down into it. You'll see them orienting over the top. But flatheads, like when I went with William Oliver, he said, I fish for flatheads in the lake in 6 to 15 feet year round. Doesn't matter if it's freaking 38-degree water or 92-degree water. They typically like 6 to 15 feet, and they're real tight on structure. Not structure, cover.
Trying to see if I missed anybody's questions going through the chat. Switch over.
Brandon Ladd says, gotta love flathead fishing. All right, I'm going to move down quickly and get caught up. Chris Wheeler, welcome in. Wheeler, biggest flathead was caught on a tilapia. There you go.
Brandon says, I think the hook set
in mineral oil, says Scott Knoll. Get out of here, dog.
Brandon Ladd says, I think the hook set position causes the fish to fight different.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes they don't know they're hooked till they get to the boat. You know, plus they just bite so much different from day to day.
Yeah.
That one day they grab it and go. Next day they grab it and lay there like just, you know, a sack of potatoes. I don't know why, but certain days you'll have one that fights real hard, and then you'll have a really big one come on and he doesn't do anything. So I've had some of my really biggest ones though that put up an epic fight, and then I've had some that just, it's like you don't even know what you got till you're like,
right,
that was that. I mean,
damn,
it's like he'd just been caught. He was already tired when you hooked him.
Zane, somebody's just getting started into flathead fishing, man. What kind of advice would you give them? What, as far as setups or how to target? What would you tell them, brother?
I'd first orient yourself with a cast net for sure. I'd get yourself some good bait spots to get bait. Get yourself a good way to keep bait alive. Those are the first things. As far as gear, I run 80-pound braid. I know you guys run a little bit lighter tackle than that. I run 80-pound braid, 100-pound leader. For flatheads, I run a hybrid circle kind of deal. I think that does better for them for me. And then lastly, when you pick your location, because if you're just now getting into flatheads, I doubt you've located them. So you got to find a spot that holds. A lot of bodies of water don't hold flatheads. People are chasing them where they don't even exist. So I would fish the spot 3 to 5 times, and then move 3 to 5 times and move. And then if you run in the right bait, you'll eventually find one for sure. But step one, you got to get the bait. Step one before that, you got to get the cast net to get the bait, that kind of deal. And like I said, shad in the spring. If you're fishing current, from my experience, shad in the spring and the fall will find you a 40 plus flathead if they're there for sure.
What makes you pick
flatheads in pairs more often than singles where you are? Seems that way here, says Jeff. He's in Texas.
Depends. If it's like a couple 20s, like a 28 and a 20, I typically pull them out in multiples. If it's like a 40 to 50, usually there's nothing with them from my experience. And
because they're territorial, right? I mean, they're pretty territorial and they'll fight off anything for its territory, right?
Yeah. Going back to even what you said earlier with when you was on structure or cover, the big flag was on the bottom and the other ones didn't want nothing to do with it. It was theirs up above. They knew better. So yeah, they're a little more territorial for sure. But as far as like 20, 28 pounders, if I double up or catch a couple pretty quick, that's about the size they usually are.
Yeah, well,
and that even goes with blues.
We probably saw, I would say, 12 brush piles with fish on them. Only one brush pile. Oh, no, 2 brush piles had, one of them had 2 20s, probably a 25 and a 20. So there was 2 in that brush pile. And every other brush pile had a 40 plus, and they were all by themselves. That
goes back to what I just said. That's how I usually catch them. 20 to 30 will be usually like 20 to 28. I'll catch them pretty much same time. Well, close to the same time.
And what's crazy is when we saw the 80, he's like, all right, we're coming up on this brush pile where I've caught about 10 80s off this pile.
Wow.
And we've got one in the 90s off this pile. They just like this brush pile. It's not a big giant
I wonder pile. What it is. I wonder what it is.
What it's He's like, I don't know what's special about it. He's like, there are 2 or 3 brush piles within about 15 yards of this thing, but this one brush pile always has a giant.
Whatever parameters that thing has is being claimed by the big boys. They want it.
Yeah, they like that.
I'm
when
curious.
You pull that big one off, he's like, man, we'll come out here the next day and there'll be another one on it.
No.
You actually caught, a big one a couple of days in a row. It's a different fish.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a different fish because he tags them all. So he knows which, if he's caught them before. So I thought that was cool. He's like, man, typically a really big one when he leaves, another really big one that's similar to his size will move right in there behind him.
I wonder
24
why.
hours.
So what is this like?
He didn't know either, and he's
a good spot for bait. I almost want to drop a thermometer down there and see if there's like the mud's cool.
All these brush piles had good bait on them. There was 1,000 freaking crappie and bluegill on these. You couldn't even see the pizza cover. It was just red. The whole thing was just
something
red.
With oxygen or temperature. Then was the mud cooler there for some reason?
Everything we fished was in 15 feet.
Was it?
Everything was in 15 feet.
When you're doing that, the flatheads on the still water, do you go back in the coves to find that kind of depth, or?
No, we were just out. We were just like shoreline contours, and I mean,
really?
Lake, yeah. We just got it in an area on 15-foot flats that had sunken tree, like crappie condos. Is what I looked at them like, just trees that people had sunk to catch crappie.
Yeah,
that's what we fished, and a couple of them he had sunk down that were PVC. Yeah. I don't know.
When I do the reservoirs for the flatheads, basically like springtime comes, there's heavy flow up in like the feeder creeks, and I'll just run right up in them. I'll go way up in the creek, places where people would think are ridiculous to fish, and they're usually. And another thing, at those times, usually when you get up in there, you see about 1,000 shad flickering on the banks where they've migrated up there, and that's about what I do on reservoirs. And then once all that slows down, shad migration goes away, the temperature comes up, I'm out of there, back to the river. Which works out because at that time, the river is always like 10 feet high and you can't fish it even if you want to.
Realist Fishing says, how do you target catfish that are suspended in the middle in 30 feet of water? Well, I used to target them like that. They're very difficult. I would suspend my planer boards to the depth that I saw fish suspended. I've learned to get out of that area, and I move. I find where that thermocline is. I go to the depth where there's only about 2 feet of it, and I fish that depth on the bottom. And you'll find when you can see all this water with thermocline, and you'll find groups of fish suspended over the thermocline. If you move up the lake to shallower water where there's only about 1 foot or 2 of that thermocline, you're going to see there's a ton of fish in that area. It's almost a guarantee. They just love that stun zone. Me and Jamie have talked about it. It's kind of like where the brackish water hits the fresh water. Yep. It's like some type of area where fish are just kind of easily stunned, and game fish like to sit right there and feed on them. They're just easier to feed on right there. So that's the way I fish that. I typically move I move away from those fish that are pelagic out in open water suspended, and I move to the depth that I see that they're suspending at. So if you're in 30 feet, they're suspended at 15 feet. I'll move to 17 feet and start looking there, and you'd be surprised at what you're going to find. So,
Zane, I got a question to ask you. We've had this question a lot. Mono, and I know you said you were using excuse me. I'm a big mono guy. What did you feel to braid to mono? What made you go to mono or braid instead of using mono so much?
I like to beach my boat on sandbars outside of reservoirs, outside of spillways, and cast into the channels that rip through there. A lot of times I gotta send that bait because usually when I go in there with the boat, there's so many different directions of current that even if you're anchored really well, within 30, 40 minutes, you may start moving around. So it's easier for me to beach and just send that thing flying out to where I need it with like a 10-ounce sinker than it is. And I just personally, I can't cast mono as far as I can braid. I could send braid pretty far. So I just like to use braid. Also, where I'm at is all mud, so I don't really have much to worry about. Now, yeah, so depending on other areas, I mean, I don't think braid's for everybody, but where I'm at, it's mud, and I'm sending it far, so that's why I like.
And that's awesome to hear, man, because, we talk about areas, how much difference there is, and things like that, so you're kind of prepping for the area that you're in. Yeah. So, braid works good in a lot of areas, and, mono works good in a lot of areas, and, I find that both, they work the way you're supposed to, but you're rigging for the area that you're in, and that's important to do also.
Yep.
So
Justin Podgormy says, are there a lot of flatheads in the Trinity River? I've been wanting to fish it but haven't had a chance. There's a ton of flatheads in the Trinity. World record come out of the Trinity when I was a kid in 81, right by my house. It's a 101 pounder. So yes, there's a ton of flatheads in the Trinity River. It is fished heavily by limb liners and bush hookers, but yeah, a ton of flatheads. A lot of log jams and debris fields and stuff. They love that. A lot of deep holes, shallow runs with deep holes. A lot of good flatheads in there. John Young, welcome in, bro. Realist Fishing says, I did see that today, so thank you. Hopefully it'll you can use that, tuck that little tip in your coat pocket, pull that out. It's a good trick this time of year. All right, we're caught up. It's amazing. We got caught up for once.
that's it. Do you ever use any planer boards in your area, on your rivers or anything?
I've ran them on my river, and I've got zero fish with planer boards. There's if you go south a little bit from me, there's a guy that runs planer boards. He pulled an 85 blue out last year running planer boards, which, like I said, the blues here they're just giant. they're so tough to catch. So I think when the temperature drops a little bit, I'll start running them.
Yeah.
But I typically don't. I don't do very well with planer boards. I do well with the way I fish, and that's just basically stay within about a mile of the spillways. And a lot of times it's tough even when you do that. So I'll just work my way down to the Hot River doing that. A lot of times I'll find one.
I'll
But
tell you, man, I know what's working for you, man. You're flat, just laying
Yeah.
it to them. You're catching some nice flatheads, man. You really are.
Use a
Yeah,
Sandy
so if any-
Cooper rig or just a straight Carolina rig?
Carolina rig. Yep. Like I said, there's so many directions of current, and sometimes I have to go right in the whitewash to get them. Like if they're being real stingy, I know a spot where I can beach my boat up on the rocks in the middle of the river. It's so shallow, and I'll cast in the white water. And a lot of times they're in there, under there, sitting, and the white water will drop in, and it'll kind of suck my bait back right to their face, and they'll hit it within like 7 minutes. So if I run any sort of float when I do that, a lot of times it'll find a way to tangle itself up. So Carolina rigs, man, they do good for me. Carolina rigs do great.
How long are you giving your spots, man? Or how long do you know they're there or they're not there?
Well, I've kind of found spots where I know they're there. So, if I'm bouncing around in like an unknown location, it's tough. If it's daytime and I think they're still bunkered down, 30 minutes. If it's nighttime, I'll give it like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
If I think it's a really good spot at night, couple hours. I don't try to bounce around too much at night because I know they're also on the move, and I don't want to play some like Scooby-Doo stuff where we're running around each other. So daytime, half hour, nighttime, up to 2 hours. It depends. But realistically, I kind of figured out where they're at. So probably tonight, I'll give an example. Tonight, I'm going to run up to a spillway where I know they're at, especially right now. We have no flow, no oxygen. So I know they're up there. And I'll just hang out there all night. So.
Nice, man. Heck yeah. And that's pretty cool. You know, you're talking about, you know, knowing those fish are there, they're not there, the times and stuff. And you, honestly, you're actually about the same timelines that I'm giving mine at night
Yeah.
in some of the areas. Because if you're sitting there just moving, like you said, all you're doing is just going around and around playing with them because they're moving a little bit, and you can miss a lot of nice fish by doing that.
You pack up after 30 minutes and he shows up at 45 minutes because he's on the move too.
Yeah.
And then you got to reset.
Yeah. That's it, man.
Elmanita says, love all the good info you guys are putting out. This is what it's all about. You guys are awesome.
Any suggestions for a reservoir with no current and more than 60% timber?
For me, if I'm reservoir fishing, I'm going to the water that feeds the reservoir almost every time. The issue is sometimes the locals will know about that and that spot might be blown out. But like this year, I went to a new reservoir. I had nowhere to even start. I drifted, I dragged, I suspended, I anchored, I did everything around that reservoir until I eventually made my way all the way up to this little tiny creek that feeds it, and I freaking smoked all of them in there. So I would start there at least, but again, that was springtime. I'm not sure about right now. I'm not sure about their activity on Stillwater.
Wesley Grubbs, we're all doing good, man. Appreciate you, bro. Chase Gobry says, after all this great info, I should be able to go back to the Ohio River and catch quite a few pigs.
Where's he at? That's where I need to get into. I want to hit the Ohio, like Gallipolis area, where Bledsoe goes.
Yep, he's one of the Slime family.
Yep, Bledsoe's doing good.
Yeah, he's been kicking some ass this year. Love seeing our guys do well, man. Love it.
Trying to see if I missed anything. I believe I'm all caught up on this side.
Tommy boy, I'll give you some suggestions for the reservoir. Get up around the inlets. Stay around the creek channel. You're going to be outside the mouth. You're going to stay in about 6 to 15 feet. Find the timber that's right next to the channel. If you can find a little bend with a big tree on it, leading up to the inlet, those will have big flatheads.
It sounds like he just explained Hoover. He just explained the reservoir I go to. I've done that. Yeah, I've done that. But last year, man, actually earlier this year, man, it was in like April. I got up there, I seen all the shad flickering all over it. I'm like, oh shoot, I better stop and fish. And there was nights I didn't get to sleep. Like
Yeah,
I had my rods out and they just kept going all night long.
our
And
shad populations.
I love them nights, man. I love them.
yeah. And it's fun catching a 50+ pound flathead in 4 feet of water, man. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And you don't get many of them nights, so enjoy them when you get them. That's for sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Especially with flathead fishing.
Wheeler says he's fishing up on the Strait of Juan de Fuca, Canada, Washington border.
You better chase some channel cats in. That sounds like some channel cat area.
Yeah, he's a big channel cat catcher. He can catch anything, but a lot of big channel cats where he's at.
Yep.
Zane, what size cat nets do you normally throw?
I like 8-footers. I love an 8-foot net. I think between 6 and 8. And sometimes it's tough to get there. I don't think it's too bad, but if you're starting out, you might have to start with like a 4 or 6. But I recommend working your way up to an 8 because you'll get your bait twice as fast.
Yep, I run a 7. Well,
yeah,
you're not allowed to run 8s in Texas, so I run a 7-foot heavy net.
Yep.
Wheeler says halibut, salmon, and king cod, ling cod, and shark up there where he's fishing the Canada-Washington border. Tommy Boy says he'd throw a 10-foot if we could. Tommy, ain't nobody going to stop you from throwing a 10-foot. I can promise you. I've been doing this my whole life. I have never had them check my cast net's diameter. On the coast, I've seen on the TV show that they will bust your ass for a freaking big net. But no, I've never been checked here. So now that I say that, go get busted, dude.
Yeah.
I was about to say, now you said that, Chris, the next time you're going to go, they're going to check you.
I ain't even seen a game warden where I'm at. I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Man,
brother,
I don't even see people here.
He's checking people for safety checks.
Brother, I'm going to tell you, they will sneak up on you with no lights around here. Matter of fact, that night, Chris, when we were doing that live fishing show,
that's crazy.
They literally bumped the front of my boat while we were live wearing night goggle visions.
What?
Dude.
Yes, sir.
My God, no. I'm going to hit the river tonight, and I won't see a single soul. It'll just be me and the stars.
Yeah,
I wish we could get checked 3 or 4 times a day. It seems.
Oh, my. Night vision goggles? Good grief.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. Matter of fact, we were on live that night, and I said, man, what in the world? And here they were. They were up at the front of the boat right there.
No way. That's wild.
Hunter Howell says he loves hearing people who love catfishing talk about their different theories and experiences. Sounds like me and my dad before each of our tournaments. Just to talk is one of my favorite parts. The hunter ghost you can't see down there.
Yes.
Yep. There's no doubt. Tommy says he doesn't want to get seen throwing the 10-foot net. I don't want him to see what I'm putting in my live well.
Yeah, Chase, they don't play between South Carolina and North Carolina, brother. They don't play around here, man. That's for sure.
Juan says shoulder going to hurt throwing a 10. If you throw a shallow 10, they're not so bad. It's when you start throwing a heavy net, even an 8-foot heavy net. Damn, that thing will wear your ass out in a matter of about 5-10 minutes. dude.
I threw a 9-foot heavy net last year, and that felt like I was throwing a semi tire every time I threw that thing. That's just,
Yeah, you better be on the bait because you're not going to want to throw that thing for free.
yeah. At 8, I can load that thing up and sling it really, really quick. Anything past that, I gotta start doing some extra stuff.
That's it. Kevin Walters, welcome in, brother. Good seeing you, man.
Jeff says they'll check your stuff on Squaw Creek. Ryan Smith says, "What's up, everyone? I throw a 9 for a while till he chickened out." Don't be scared to break some rules, buddy. Rules are made to be broken. Oh, man.
And, of course, you know we all follow the law around here.
Because Chase says they don't play in North Carolina.
No. No, they don't. Between here and there, no.
Hey, fellas, welcome in, Kevin. Tommy Boy says his shoulder already hurts without even throwing the damn net. All right, we're caught up. Green jeans are different in North Carolina. See, here they're more worried about deer hunters and drunk boaters. Drunk boaters in the summer. In the winter, they're out chasing deer hunters. They aren't even on the lake.
Well, that's good because drunk boaters. Well, that's no fun.
Yeah, we got plenty of them.
Yeah.
No shortage of drunk boaters here.
Well, here between South Carolina and North Carolina, man, if it's not the DNR, it's Coast Guard. They're just as bad as the DNR, man. God, it's awful. It really is. So when they come in here, it's like I said, being close to the coast, man, they come off that ocean coming up in this fresh water. Coast Guard is just as bad.
I wouldn't mind them like policing more here. I'd be fine with it. You know,
I've always said if they paid, you know, far as the limb liners and stuff like that, man, I would love to see them start paying more attention to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
They suck, man. They really do. I know I get a lot of backlash for that, but I'm just saying.
You get people mad at you?
Oh, dude. People say, man, I seen you on Facebook talking about bashing trout like us.
The juggers hate me.
It is what it is, man.
When I'm making my jugging posts, man, I make a lot of enemies.
Both of our state records are jugs and limb lines.
Man.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, man, just know how much more fun that would have been on a rod and reel. You know, it would have been a whole lot more fun. It would have been a lot more challenging than just driving your boat up to a lead line and just pulling it up and it's a done deal.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to compete with that, too, when they can set it out for 3 days. And
it is.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And so many people leave them hanging in the bushes, man, and forget about them. And you go up to them in the catfish and same thing with jugs.
Every tree that's hanging over the river's got an abandoned line on it. I'm like,
yeah. Every
Every tree hanging over the river's got one on it.
I pulled one up like a few months ago that had a crankbait tied to it. I swear. I was like, well, I'll just leave it.
Oh, man. Jamie's got Tar River looking around with a light right now.
I'm telling you, brother, they'll sneak up on you around here.
Man.
I actually told him we were live that night. Chris, you heard me. I said, man, we're live right now, doing a live and talking to him in the front of the boat. And I'm like, wow, where the hell did y'all come from?
Freaking Black Ops. Good God.
We're giving y'all guys way too much money to be wearing this.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Do y'all have a certain color light that y'all use at night that doesn't attract so many bugs?
A lot of times I'll set my drag to where like I know it's not too tight, but tight enough to where it's going to set the hook, and I'll just turn my clicker on, and I won't even pay attention.
Yeah,
to it.
yeah.
They'll wake me up.
I like that. Lighten the drag, put the clicker on where you're not actually open spool for the clicker.
Yeah, probably like 15 pounds of drag, maybe something.
That hook slightly buried, and then you can hoe off into it once you got a fish on.
Yeah, that's how I do it every night. I'll run the blue lights if I want to look cool, but
there ain't nothing like hearing that drag go off.
All the lights work good, like early spring or after kind of late fall when the bugs have died down.
Yeah.
Right now, damn, you turn that thing on, and literally in 5 seconds here, there's 8,000 bugs immediately.
Just get bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Especially the mayflies, man. You got it's ridiculous with mayflies.
Yep.
All right. I missed some stuff. Kevin Walter says, I have fished the Ohio River for 35 years and only big checked once. I would love to see them guys out there every day. It stop some of the over limits by the commercial guys hauling to pay lakes. I'd agree with that. Seems like they could pay for their salaries and violations, writing tickets,
Mm-hmm.
I've always said it like this too. When duck season comes in, if they'll treat fishing and stuff just like how they do duck season, we wouldn't have these problems.
Treat it
duck season.
Dove. Hell, your dove hunt here is a good chance the game warden's going to show up.
That's
Check
it.
all your stuff. He's checking your plug. He's checking your license. And they show up after the hunt's over, so they're going to check the birds. Anything that you're over, they write a violation for each one that you've gone over your limit. They'll max out everything they can. You know what? But fishing, they don't do any of that here. I
tell you, brother, I've gone duck hunting, and there'll be about 6 or 7 of us start to leave the boat landing, turn a couple of corners, and they put us in a roadblock.
Yeah,
that's how it is. And I said, man, if y'all do this during fishing season, I said we would have so much. The fishing would be so good.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
They do the same with deer here too. I mean, they'll check every deer camp. They'll run up and down these roads checking every deer camp.
Wow.
Writing citations to anybody who's in violation. So.
That's it. Zane, what is the choice of bait for tonight, brother? What you gonna try to go and catch?
I got a spot to get shad, but it's about 30 minutes away, so it depends. I got a carp in the live well right now. I'm kind of chasing. I'm not necessarily chasing flatheads tonight. I'm chasing that big blue that I think I know where the big blue is that I've been after. So I'm probably gonna, since the times, it's about that time to get on the water. So I'll probably just sling that carp out, and hopefully that blue comes and sees me. He might be about 80 pounds right now. So that's the goal tonight. If I was getting flatheads though, I'd run up to my shad spot, get some shad, and then see what else was in there. Maybe if there's some bluegill, I might be able to catch them with the rod real quick, run them. But tonight is going to be carp, and a flathead might hit that too. A lot of guys around here get them on carp, carp in the summertime, but I haven't yet.
Nice, man. Nice. Heck yeah. I know.
Got me wanting to fish a running creek mouth. Water right now. Here, it would rain like a son of a gun this morning.
It works, man. I'm telling you. Find you a good creek mouth, it works good.
The mouth works, but I've had more success going way up in the skinny water in the creek. I swear.
Yeah. See, right now around here, everything's flooded. It's blurred out, man.
Is it?
If they were to open up some of the boat lands, go up in the back creeks, up in the timber and stuff, probably tear them up right now.
Yeah, I've done good in creeks, and it's really fun.
He likes everything about the game wardens unless they check his bait cooler.
Yeah, there you go. Don't check my live well.
Oh, man. Kevin says the time he was checked, it was duck season. That was the reason they were out there.
That's it, man. They love it. If you want to get checked, go fishing during duck season. You'll get checked.
Get checked.
Brian Henry says the game wardens need to start going after these damn jet skis. I'd agree.
Yeah.
Jet skis and the wakeboarders here, the wakeboarders are out of control, man.
I'm glad I don't have to deal with none of that.
God, it's ridiculous.
That would be awful.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Fishing my home lake because it's overrun with them.
Really?
Yeah.
Just obnoxious.
Kids. It's all kids, driving their dad's $125,000.
Man, no.
Mess
everything up.
Drinking and just no courtesy and
not
ignorant.
painting.
All three things don't mix well with my nature.
There's no respect on the water around here by no means.
Ray King says carp's been the number one bait on his boat for the last few weeks.
For flats, yeah. I'm hoping something happens.
Zane, I know we've already went over this. Maybe hit on it real quick, man. Brad was asking, what rod and reel is your favorite?
I've only ran one rod. That's the Mad Catz Signature Series Yellow. So I run that one. I'll probably only run them forever. I'm committed to them. Reel, I like the Ancient Mariner Ocean Tycoons, but I've been running the Mad Catz Genesis 6750. It's got the thumb release, and they've been doing really well for me too.
Zane, we got a new series coming out. You might want to try.
What's that?
I don't know if I'm supposed to say anything. But...
Okay. Hey, I'm down, especially if it's free. I'll try the heck of it. I'll make it work. I'll catch some with it. But yeah, I seen them new ones they released today. Those green ones that glow, those are nice.
Yeah.
Those are sharp.
No, these are a new rod series.
I'm looking forward to it.
It was supposed to be out this spring, but I guess there were some issues with manufacturing.
I see that. Yeah.
They couldn't let them go. The paint was not right or something. So
I heard about them. I just haven't seen them.
Yeah. I haven't either. I was supposed to get a set, and they didn't ever ship it up. So
yep. Dang.
I just keep using my goblins until they get here.
I tried some Parker rods. These 14-foot Orange Crushes. Parker runs on the whatever Big River he fishes. Yeah, but, man, I don't know how he uses them. Those things is like insane. I could barely fit them in my barn, man. They're huge.
Yeah, I got mine aren't 14, but I got some 10s and 12s.
Yeah.
I used them up down at the coast. I thought I would use them for gator gar, and I just realized I'd prefer a 7'6" for gator gar.
Yeah, that's all I run, 7'6".
I don't need much to sling it across the Trinity.
I could sling them with a 7'6".
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I do need to get me a couple 10s or 12-footers to I want to use some this winter for my outside boards. So I'm definitely going to get me a couple of those this year.
Kevin Walker, that new glow in the dark reel is fire.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's probably one of the best looking reels I've seen.
That thing's sharp.
I'm ready for him to get it in a high gear ratio for my taste. For dragging, big baits, big boards. Well, Jamie, do you have anything you want to promote before we go?
Before we do that, Chris, I want to hit up on some of our sponsors, man, real fast and give them a big...
We were supposed to run some commercials tonight, but like I said, Peter wasn't able to get me the file because we're both technically challenged. We couldn't figure out how to get that transferred, so I couldn't get the SmackDown videos. I got to make one for Parks Planter Boards. Catfish Clothing sent Jamie one, and he sent it to me, but I was not going to do them till I got all of them lined out. Then I need to make Jimmy Floyd a custom knife at Amarillo Knife Works.
That's it. That's one of them right there, guys. If y'all haven't checked him out, check him out. He can build you one heck of a knife.
Let's give one away. I got one to give away.
You got one to give away?
I got one to give away. I'm supposed to be getting. He's going to send me. This one is one of the 100th episode. Let me see. Let me pull myself up here.
Well, while you're doing that, man, real fast, like I said, I want to thank Catfish Clothing, man, that's come on board with us this year. Them guys, we're working together on some special stuff. And, man, that's a good-looking knife right there, brother.
Oh, that's sweet.
This is a bait knife.
Man, I like that handle, brother.
Custom bait knife from Jimmy Floyd, Amarillo Knife Works.
Yep. Definitely go check them out, guys. Highly recommended. I've got some. Chris got some. These things here, you will not have to worry about sharpening after the first 2 times of cutting your bait. I promise you.
Y'all want to call Jimmy? There's his number. Upside down. I'll put a commercial together for Jimmy. I'm going to probably I know SmackDown's got a commercial that I want to use. We got to figure out how I can get the files too big to send over email. So, and then I'm going to make one for Kevin Parks for Parks Planter Boards, and Jamie needs to get me one for Carolina Lake Weights. And then I've already got one for Catfish Clothing, so we'll do those soon. Appreciate all the support.
Yes, sir.
How are we going to give this thing away?
Might as well do it the way we normally do it, Chris.
All right. So we got one. There's 33 people in here. We'll go 1 through 65. And when I say go, y'all pick a number between 1 and 65. I'm going to write the number down right now. We'll go with all right.
Jamie, let's do a giveaway for the Carolina Lake Weight Shockwave banner right behind you. Yeah, man, that's a pretty nice banner right there, brother.
Oh, man. Here we go.
Guys, good luck to the winner. Zane, man, while they're doing that, brother, I appreciate you, man, coming on with us tonight.
Tommy Boy Outdoors, you are the winner. Lucky number 13.
Look at there already, guys. Congratulations, Tommy. But, man, it's been a pleasure talking about flathead fishing with you, brother. And I tell you, man, you're doing some big things for sure.
I appreciate you guys. Yeah, hopefully someone got something out of it. I mean, biggest things, using the right bait, get a net, get the right bait, and then time on water.
That's it. Man. That's it.
All right. Zane, appreciate you coming on and sharing your knowledge. Our guys loved it. So
that's good. I appreciate it, man. It was fun.
Yeah, I figured you'd like it. I didn't know you were nervous coming on, but I told you it'd just be like buddies hanging around the campfire. So thanks for sharing with us. I know the guys loved it. So
that's it. That's it. And Zane, how can they get how can they watch your videos, man? How can they for the ones that might not know?
Zane Stith on Facebook. You'll see me holding a big flathead. My video, it's like a little bit of fun stuff, a little bit of like informative stuff. But you know, people seem to enjoy it, so you'll get some stuff out of there. But yeah, Zane Stith. I'm holding almost a 70-pound flathead in that picture. So
that's awesome, brother. That really is, man. And congratulations on some monster flatheads, brother, for sure.
Appreciate it.
Before we go, Jamie, what's your fishing plans?
Well, right now, Chris, like I said, we would love to go out fishing, but the water's still way too high for us right now. Everything's still a little bit flooded, but not this week. But next week, I am planning a trip down to Santee Cooper.
All right.
I'm hearing some
penalty box.
Yeah, I'm hearing some great things coming from Santee Cooper area. So we might hit either the Cooper River or we might head to the lake. So we haven't decided yet. But Santee, we're getting ready to bring some Carolina lake weights down there for sure.
Tommy, I'll hang on to the knife. We'll just go fishing soon. I'll just hand it to you rather than mail it. Save me $20. All right, guys. Appreciate everybody coming in and stopping in and making another great show. This is episode 102. We're going to keep doing it.
That's it.
Lines. God bless. Azul out.
Later, y'all.